3, 2, 1, go. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us again under the library. We are playing Call of Cthulhu in our homebrew universe, which is created by our very own keeper. If you are enjoying what we're doing here and would like to support the show, you can find us on patreon.com/underthelibrary, or if you would like to play in this here universe in our Season 1 setting, you can go to DriveThruRPG and search for The Snake's Oil, a module written, again, by that very talented keeper of ours, starring characters from Season 1 and NPCs from Season 1. I hear it's a ton of fun. But we are not playing it so that we can play it at a future date on the show for you folks. With that, let's get started. Once again, we have a full cast tonight. My name's Arthur. I am playing Franny. I am joined by Wayne as Rutherford, Scott as Cully, Chris as Boone, Emily as Joe, and Rick as someone we will presumably meet later. And as always, that amazing keeper that I talked about earlier, that guy's Michael. Michael, the show is all yours.
I would actually prefer if you would add benevolent to that title.
Yeah, let's not push it.
All right. We are set in the Call of Cthulhu world as a tabletop role-playing game. And we feature mature themes, and we're very immature people. As such, our content warning for the night is if you've ever looked at your significant other and said, it puts the lotion on, then you're probably in the right place. And with that,
Scott,
I'll turn
that's
it
your
over
fault.
to...
That's your
Thank
fault,
you.
Scott.
I get all the credit.
And I'll turn it over to Emily with a recap of Bello's demise. I mean, last week's episode.
Spoiler alert.
Wow, Michael. Okay. So, Rutherford and Cully were exhausted and went to bed. Bello, Franny, and Joe discussed the trip to the lab, but decided to leave it for the next day and also sleep. At this time, Boone finally gets back, pulls into the driveway, and has to pull the handbrake to avoid hitting an unexpected parked vehicle. It's the car that abducted Richard. Everyone awakes to the sound of glass breaking on the east side of the house. Joe and Cully. Sorry. Joe and Cully want to check. Joe looks for a weapon in the basement, but instead sees this stuffed Wolverine with claws. There's a flashback. She starts screaming, can't stop, trembling, staring, catatonic. Well, not catatonic, I guess. Joey's my dog. This is bad. This is bad.
That
Cully?
pineapple juice, was it fermented, Emily? Are you all right?
I put vodka in it.
Oh.
All right. Joe refuses to stay downstairs, screams every minute as Cully helps her up. Boone hears the scream, grabs a tire iron, and smash.
This
Not
is amazing.
That much vodka? just
Was there actually any pineapple juice in there?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to know why else it would have been yellow.
Oof.
Okay.
Do you call that drink the throat punch?
Oh,
It's
damn.
not a bad name. Not a bad name.
Absolutely
All right, but
good.
let me get through this so that we can play a game. Boone smashed in the passenger window of the strange car, but there was no one inside. Franny rolled 100 looking for a knife in the kitchen, runs into Bello, literally, as he's running with his .38 revolver. Franny is shot in the stomach and Bello is stabbed in the arm. I'm sorry, the fleshy side of her abdomen. Rutherford is listening at Richard's bedroom door. He cracks the door open and sees a silhouette, and a flashlight clicks off. There are two people in the room. He shoots. The person in front of the window falls, but he feels a pain in his chest and falls to the ground unconscious. Joe keeps screaming, makes the hiding a little bit difficult. Cully is ready with his slingshot. Bello leaves Franny and heads towards the bedroom. He calls, "Come out with your hands up." They shoot him through the door. And he smells Cracker Jacks and grass. He's at a baseball game with his dad, catches the fly ball. His dad becomes the devil. He descends into panic and fear, and everything goes dark. Boone circles the house, looks in the bedroom window, sees the body on the floor with another body underneath that's still moving. Smells of death. Pool of blood growing from under the door. Boone hears Joe's screams and barrels in, joins the kids in the living room, helps them outside, sees Franny and drags her out too. Joe tries to go back in for Bello and Rutherford, but Cully talks her down. They leave in the doodlebug to get Franny to a doctor. In the house, Rutherford wakes. There's a body on him. He crawls towards Richard's body, but sees someone struggling on the floor, shoots the man, and kills him. And that was the end of our episode.
We all rolled really well last week. I mean, that was that was a lot of fun.
And I did have a note at the end to remember that when we get through a day, we roll for stat improvements.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Maybe also when I get through a sentence.
So we're never getting stats.
Bello, you almost made it to a stat improvement. Like,
Oh.
Oh.
wonder if it would have helped you.
Does that carry over? They carry over, right?
No.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe if the stat improvement is a bulletproof helmet.
Oh.
Wow.
Too soon, dude.
Yeah. Little
Is it too soon for that?
little soon.
Maybe maybe an intelligence check to not shout at people shooting bullets.
You
Today's
know,
7-7.
It is.
That's cool.
It is
7-7
7-7.
choo-choo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So who wants to get us rolling?
Well, I mean, I
Can
think
you
that,
remind us again, what is it? It's the middle of the night. Like we tried to sleep. We were awakened. It's like 3 a.m.
Yeah, somewhere in that
would
range.
it even be that late?
Well, Boone
Yeah.
was still on the road at 2.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. We would have to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it that. Yep.
Yeah, we based it on
Sure.
Boone's arrival.
Yeah.
We'll call it 3:30 after all the fun that happened. It was fun, right?
Yeah.
So
great fun.
fun.
So we're in the car and we need to get Franny to the doctor, right? So that's
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's number one
the main
priority.
thing. Yeah.
we're going to be calling out for Boone to just get there as quickly as the doodlebug will carry us.
All righty. I put the pedal to the metal. I assume someone's in the back. With,
How fast can the doodlebug go? I'm just wondering.
Oh,
it's-
at least 15, 18 miles an hour.
It could probably go 35, maybe top
That's
speed.
pretty
I
good.
was going to say, does it have metal to put the pedal to?
Yeah, put the metal to the wood.
The floor's rotted out, so it's just try not to put the pedal all the way down to the road. So yeah, we need someone in the back. Assume someone's in the back, putting direct pressure on Franny's wound
Mhm.
to keep her from bleeding out.
Maybe they are.
I mean, Franny would be.
Yeah, and as soon as Joe is sort of calm,
Not trying to
I mean,
run
there's only-
back
there's
into
only-
the death house.
There's only room for 2 people in the, there's only 1 seat. So there's really only, and then there's a huge shifter. So there's not room for 3 people. So there has to be 2 of you in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say probably I would be back there trying to keep pressure on.
Yeah, right. Because Boone would want to keep an eye on Joe so she doesn't try and hop out and run
Yeah.
back to the house.
Yeah, and Joe was calm after that. So
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
what?
I'd be sort of holding up pressure and just, saying, Franny, I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do? Let me help you. And does it hurt? And I think Cully is nervous and just freaked out as possible. And so he's sort of talking the entire time to you, whether you acknowledge or talk back or not.
So, Keeper, is Franny sort of lucid? Is it the type of wound where it's painful, but she knows she's going to be okay, or is she actually in fear for her life?
This is a good question. You're definitely shot, like it's not a flesh wound.
Mhm.
And you're bleeding significantly, and it is excruciatingly painful.
Mhm.
But it's not near, I mean, it's not near anything vital. And how many hit points did we leave you with?
Oh, I forget. Let's check.
This would be probably helpful.
So I have 6 remaining.
Okay. Yeah. So you're conscious and you're lucid, but you're in a tremendous amount of pain.
Okay.
And bleeding a lot.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that then Franny would probably be trying to not talk too much, but when possible, trying to actually comfort Cully a little bit, because he's clearly been through a lot.
Right. So my vision is of kind of this overhead shot of the doodlebug, like zooming down the road, kind of at like go-kart speed.
Yeah, and then a dog runs by, passes us.
That's great.
No, you hit the dog.
Oh.
No.
Well, third character. What time of day is this for you guys?
3 in the morning.
Yeah.
3?
3:30.
We could push. I mean, thinking about Boone and it driving as fast as it would drive, we're probably actually closer to 4 a.m. At this point. So let's call it 4 a.m.
Sure.
And so y'all are headed to the doctor's. Rutherford, you're stumbling around in the house. There's like blood everywhere.
Well, some of it's mine.
Right. And I sent you a little note last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's a chance you'll show up at the doctor then, because you knew about the doctor, right?
Rutherford?
Yeah.
Interesting. Amongst the talk of the group, he would have absolutely heard the doctor talk. You gotta.
And you would have met her at the theater, right?
Yeah.
I think I was heading outside, but that whole escapade would be impossible to miss. So
Okay.
I would have to say he would be aware of doctors in town.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is you probably know her from town, right?
Mm-hmm. But Rutherford is not concerned about going to the doctor right now.
Okay.
What is
All right.
Rutherford concerned with?
Okay, so let's start with
mystery.
the group. Let's start with you, Rutherford.
Absolutely. So, Rutherford crawled forward and found his resilience and strength buoyed, and went into the room and saw this crawling figure on the floor, and obviously it's one of these perpetrators of the kidnapping. It's in his mind, and he finishes them off. And then Rutherford tries to gather himself, feeling he'll probably topple over with all the things going wrong with him, and tries to stand up, and is curiously able to stand up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And stands up, and there's no light in the room, so he listens for a second. I assume he hears gurgling. Nothing.
I don't think there's probably anything. Maybe you would have heard the doodlebug zooming out of the driveway.
Okay, which is good. And so perhaps he would surmise with the doodlebug leaving. Actually, no, he doesn't know anything of the doodlebug. It showed up. He was upstairs.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a completely alien sound to him. So he might even perceive that, that is a vehicle that other perpetrators of the crime and such would have been using. So he's aware, and so he goes to a window. He does not turn the light on first like you normally would. He goes to a window and wants the room to be cloaked in darkness behind him as he looks out the window, so he's not seen and silhouetted, and looks out the closest window, which I believe was past Richard's body, and one of the figures, the first figure he shot was, I believe, silhouetted in that window. I'm not mistaken. So that's the window he goes to, which I'm not sure which side of the house it is. And let's just say Rutherford would be confused at this time too. So much has happened. And he looks out the window to see if there's any figures running about or vehicles driving away or driving up. Who knows what that car sound was.
Make a spot hidden. That'll just determine kind of your timing for.
And an 87 does not make it.
Nope. It's pretty dark outside, and make a POW roll to go along with that 87.
I made the power roll by 1.
Okay. And so you're briefly kind of struck by these bright images. They're not outside, they're in your mind, but somehow they're causing your eyes to constrict, just like if you had thank you. Causing your one eye to constrict as if you had seen a bright light in real life.
Gotcha.
And they're simply these men and women coming to a table to talk to you. And they're dressed in like lab coats with clipboards, and they seem very official. And there's just like these flickers of them momentarily. And it really kind of distracts you as you're standing there at the window and you can't really get past them.
Okay.
So you're not able to really focus on what's out beyond the window.
So at that, Rutherford, when then with these visions and such, and all this cavalcade of imagery in front of him, he takes the curtains, which I think Richard would have stylish curtains, and perhaps a nice louver. I don't know, but he closes the curtains in some fashion.
And as you close the curtains, you have the same vision of somebody opening a medical curtain in your head. Okay. And there's a woman giving birth on the other side of the curtain, and then it disappears again.
Wow. Was it a horrific vision or is it a healthy vision?
It's, she's giving birth. So just kind of the normal expressions that come along.
The most pleasant, happiest birth ever.
I was going to say, so more just of a curiosity for himself. So he starts thinking of if that movie 2001 was made, why is there a baby at the end of it in outer space? Could that be correlated? So he's just like, all right. And so he needs to turn around with the curtain closed, and he's near Richard's body and these other bodies. So he makes his way over to a light in the room, a lamp or a switch on the wall.
Okay.
And illuminates the room, and it's in all its goriness, and looks around, but also looks back at the door. Would Rutherford have realized that it was Bello that had landed on top of him at that moment, or was he incoherent?
No, because you were unconscious when Bello was shot.
Right.
So as you turn, you'll see Bello's body laying on the floor, as well as, there's blood everywhere, right? There's the residue from Richard's head explosion. There's two other individuals who've been shot in the room.
Right.
They're pretty close to where you're standing. And then there's yours and Bello's blood under the door. And now you see Bello's blood as well.
So Rutherford looks over and calls out, and would call out loud, because in the I wouldn't call it shock, but in the noticing of Bello, he would call out Bello, because he wasn't a close friend for Bello. And he goes over to Bello and he roots through his clothes to get some pocket chicken. The last pocket chicken that Bello will ever serve.
Okay, as you go over and push his body over to root through him, his mouth falls open, and there's some gurgling sounds, and a rather large insect crawls out of his mouth. It pushes apart his lips, and then you see it crawl across his face and then scurry away.
So Rutherford,
wow, really?
And that's Rick's new character.
Hi guys.
Oh my God, what are you gonna call it? What's the character from Metamorphosis? Oh my God,
Jiminy Cricket.
Oh,
Camus' Metamorphosis.
is it
Gregor.
It's not Camus.
You're Gregor the
Isn't it
the beetle.
Dostoevsky?
Kafka.
Kafka, there, yeah. So he's not sure if that critter coming out of his mouth is real or not. So he tries to suss that out.
Oh, you try to catch it?
No, he tries to just looking at it and listening and looking closely, tries to determine is the insect coming out of him, because he just has these visions.
Yeah.
Is it real or is this not real?
Yeah, make a power roll.
Okay. And a normal success.
Yeah. So far, all of your visions have been distinctly separate from reality, right? Like they're not integrated with any kind of situation. So seeing this actually part the lips of Bello and move through his mouth is definitely real to you.
How big is this insect? Is it something we have non-concern, or is it a significant, like, foot-long insect?
No, it was a big insect. I can hold my insects. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's going to find a new host.
It was a solid 3 to 4 inches in length and probably, an 1.5 to 2 inches wide.
And I just want to confirm, is there a size of insect that crawls out of the mouth of a recently deceased person that is not alarming? Is it ever small enough to be like, oh, okay, that's fine?
So Rutherford would recoil, and a lot of times with an insect, your normal inclination would be to step on it and crush it, but he doesn't. He doesn't do that, and his reaction is because he's a thinker, he's an egghead, and he uses his gun, and he shoots the insect.
Make a firearms roll for me, please.
Wow.
Because he's a thinker.
That's a miss.
Okay.
Not a terrible miss, just a miss.
It's okay. The insect goes running off, but your shot goes right into the sternum of Bello. And there's kind of a big thud sound as you put another hole in Bello.
Well, he already didn't look healthy, and he had bugs coming out of him. So Rutherford, not thinking he finished him off, but does Bello have? Does he sort of like leak gas and exhale, anything like that, or have a moan, or go? Why did you do that?
Wow. Not dead yet. Let's see. Make a medical roll here.
Medical. Oh, that's not good. I have good first aid. No, not
okay,
good.
you get first aid's fine. Just to
first
see.
aid's better than my medicine, and my first aid roll is a 7.
Yeah, so you know that based on where he was shot in the head, that your shot didn't do anything to
shot in the head. I forgot. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, any more to his death.
All right. So it was just shooting into a meatloaf. All right.
Yeah. Wow, shooting into a. There's our show title.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought I already had one.
all right. Shooting into a chicken loaf.
I don't think we've ever desecrated an old character's corpse like this.
All right. And at this point, Rutherford turns.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Turns from the now bullet-riddled Bello.
Yeah, I think we got it. He's dead. He's not coming back. That's the
Loaded, bullet-ridden Bello, for alliteration's sake, and turns and looks at the other bodies, and what Rutherford's curious about is he goes to the bodies and looks at their faces, and he's looking to see if it's a man with a scarred face.
And it indeed is.
A scarred face from the dry, and he would talk at this point. Rutherford's talking out loud, and he's like, "Good God, it's Richard's abductors, just like I thought." And he would have hopefully the wits about him. He wants to take a photograph of these two bodies with that camera that he got from Richard.
Okay. All right, then I tell you what we'll do is if that's the next thing you want to do, we'll give you time to go get that camera and come back upstairs. One thing I want you to take note, make a little spot hidden. It's possible you haven't noticed this yet. Totally reasonable, actually, if you haven't.
Ooh, I got it. Did I get it? I got it right on the nose.
As you're looking down at this body, you look down and there's all this blood on you. Like you're covered in blood. And you look down and there's a hole in your shirt, right about your sternum.
So this is the curious. So this is where
and there's blood all down the front of your shirt and onto the front of your pants.
So this is where Rutherford was target fixated, like he gets, and wanted to get to the window, take a look around, saw Bello, got distracted from Bello. The insect definitely threw him. His mind is completely elsewhere, and in going over to this body, he sees the scarred face, and he's looking down at him with his head pointed down, and then at that point, he notices his shirt is torn, and it all of a sudden dawns him that he was shot, and the sense of this searing pain that had struck him in the chest is there, and he rubs his forehead for a second because this doesn't quite make sense, and he takes his shirt and because he always wears a button-down shirt because he's an egghead, and he unbuttons his shirt and looks where he had been shot, because obviously it doesn't feel as bad as it should be. There's something not adding up.
Right. And
then he a lot like Napoleon, he sticks his hand inside of his jacket in very regal fashion and feels around in there and senses what's odd or different or wrong, or in fact not wrong.
Everything seems to be intact.
And then that's where he's like, and it's not adding up. He says he fell to the ground, and he's trying to put it together, and he says, well, perhaps the door was struck with the shot of whatever it was, and it was a blow and a concussion that knocked him. So that's how he's trying to explain it in the head. He says, perhaps it was something different and not a gunshot. Perhaps there was some sort of other concussion that happened and he was knocked unconscious. So he's trying to put those pieces together and not quite sure. The blood may be Bello's or his, and his short shirt got torn by fragments from the door from this explosion. And it actually, he wasn't perforated as bad as he, thought, because he didn't even look at it before. So he's trying to reason it out.
Okay.
And then at that point, Rutherford then, looks at the two figures. If there's anything lying nearby, like guns or anything, by their hands or anything, like he would quickly just grab those and toss them aside and toss them into a drawer or a cabinet just to keep them away.
Sure. They each had a gun, which was on the, one of them probably died with it in their hand. The other fell not too far from the body. So those would be easy to locate.
Yeah, and with all the oddities going on, and just in case, because once again, with those car sounds, there could be other people around, and he doesn't want to leave a room with weapons in the room. And he stuffs them into a cabinet or behind some books in Richard's room. And then he goes to get the really funky, cool spy camera.
Okay. All right. While he goes to do that, we will cut over to the car. I assume you are driving directly to the doctor's office.
Yep, with Joe's help, because I don't know the town. I'm
sure Dr. Gardner will help. I mean, she's a little odd, but she's always helped people. She helped Bello earlier. I mean, she's got to help. It's going to be okay.
Thank you, Joe. You just point me in the right direction.
It's that way.
A little too late there, Joe. Up on two wheels. Got to give me some warning.
Boone, drive faster. She's bleeding really
up
badly.
On wheels doing 30 miles. poorly made vehicle.
And I'm calling from back. Joe, make sure you're going as fast as you can. She's really bleeding, and there's blood all over it. It's on my hands, and it's getting in the car.
Oh my goodness, Cully, calm down. She's gonna be okay. The doctor will help her.
Boone, are you? Can we go faster? Because this thing go faster.
If you get out and push, maybe.
I can't get out and push. I got my hand in the wound.
No, I know it's a serious situation. I'm just trying a little levity.
So as you swing in, if you look at the building, remember there's all the she keeps like 15 to 20 dogs and kennels behind this. So if you can imagine, the front of this building almost looks like a barn in that there's one obvious first story, and then a smaller segment on the top, which would probably be her housing. You could just assume as you look at this, and then the bottom would be for the medical facilities. But as you pull in, you're kind of, you're making a mess. The lights are going everywhere, and immediately you start to hear dogs barking, tons of dogs barking, and howling. And pretty soon, after you pull into the drive, you see a light go on in an upstairs window.
I'll beep the horn.
Yeah.
In a way that indicates,
Is that Morse code?
Yes.
I'll just
Okay.
hop out and run for the front door
Okay.
and knock or doorbell or whatever there is.
Yeah. So I mean, you're essentially probably banging on the door. I don't know if she has the what was it? Visitor awareness.
Oh God.
Visitor
Yeah.
notification system.
Yeah.
something like that.
I don't think she has one of those installed. But as you're banging on the door, Joe, you see lights coming towards you with a figure as they're kind of moving through and turning things on.
I'll get out and help Franny. Are you still able to walk, Franny? Or
I think so. I can at least try.
okay, I'll help you. We'll do the same thing. One arm around you, your arm over, and
Yep.
And
Yeah.
when
scoot you along.
is there an exit wound or is there just an entrance wound?
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah. There's an exit wound.
All right. So when I see that, I'm going to put both hands so I had my hand sort of pressing on one side. I'm going to put my hand on the other side now because
Okay.
I don't want you to bleed from either. And so I'm sort of compressing as best I can.
All right. Joe, the door kind of swings open, and a very obviously sleepy Dr. Gardner is there with kind of a robe pulled tight, and she looks at you and she just says, This would be an emergency, I
Hi,
assume.
Dr. Gardner, hi. Yes, it is. My friend has been shot.
Come on
and-
in. Come on
okay,
in. Joe,
okay.
come in.
Boone, Cully.
All righty. Music,
Yeah.
movement.
And she Oh yeah. Immediately she sizes all of you up, right? She's looking at the four of you, and she quickly goes, "Was it the chicken man?"
Oh,
No,
man,
it's not.
I
It's
don't-
not
I
a
don't
joke.
actually
She's,
know.
No,
she's
the
very
chicken, the
serious.
chicken man was there, but no, it was intruders.
Did he do this?
No, intruders broke into the house. He was defending it like the rest of us. They had guns.
No, it was the one-armed chicken man.
So it actually was the chicken man, but Franny's
gonna say,
not going to
Franny's got
say
an
that right
answer.
now.
Okay. Are-
Just
Are you
because she doesn't feel that this is the time to try to explain something that nuanced.
Did he follow you?
Follow? What do you
The chicken man. Did
the
he
chicken
follow
man.
you?
For all we know,
We don't know.
we don't know. Yeah.
Can we get her inside? She's really bleeding, doctor. We'll answer all your questions afterwards, I promise, but we need to get her stitched up, or I don't know what you do.
I don't know what happened. Cully and I were in the other room and we just heard the shot, and
We didn't hear
This
one
is
shot.
really
We heard
horrible.
a lot of shots.
we did. We heard shots, and I don't know what happened. I'm afraid
okay.
she's going to die.
Yeah, there were intruders.
She looks at you. She looks at you, Boone, because obviously you're probably the only one capable or old enough to be driving. And she says, um, "You three come with me. You take your car around the back, and meet us. I'll tend to your friend."
Okay, ma'am.
Wow, she knows her shit. That's impressive.
I do what she asked. Should we call the police? Do you have a telephone?
I don't think we should do that right now, Boone.
What if the people that did this are working with the police, Boone?
Boone.
Geez, I don't know. I'm all flustered.
Boone, is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Go move your car. Don't call the police and come back in. Okay. And so, about that time, a younger woman comes down the stairs, and she says to her, Ellen, go get those dogs quiet, and then meet me back. I'm going to need some help. And so she escorts you to, she certainly doesn't have like an operating room, but she kind of has a sterile procedure center. We'll call it that. And let's see what her assessment is. Wow. You're one lucky Franny. All right. So she lays you down, and she gives you a shot. She says, "This will,"
unless she says otherwise really quickly, I'm not letting go of the pressure until she tells me to, and I'm just holding this for sort of dear life.
And she's assessing that as she's going along. And so she's taking note of that. And so she gives you a little shot, Franny, to kind of numb things down. And she looks at you, Cully, and she says, "I'm going to take good care of her. You can let go now."
I can let go? She's bleeding. She's going to keep bleeding. If I let go and she keeps bleeding, she might die.
Cully, if the doctor says you can let go.
You can let go.
We have to trust her. She's
Franny,
the one that can help.
Franny, can I let go?
It's okay, Cully.
All right, so I'll take my hands away.
Thank you, Cully.
And then I'm just going to go right over to Joe and just sort of stand in front of Joe, between Joe and the doctor.
Okay. So as you take your hands away, she quickly slides some gauze underneath the back of it, and then she takes a small rod and she pushes it through the wound, and you see her smile.
Oh God.
Yeah. And she takes it out, and she goes, "It's clean." She looks at you, Franny, and she goes, "You're very lucky. Much, much luckier than the chicken man." And she says that too.
Oh, really?
When she says that,
yeah,
I'm turning and looking at Joe, and I'm like,
how do you know
what
that?
does that mean?
Bello?
And so so she treats it and dresses it, puts a lot of pressure on it, and does some doctor things to help it stop bleeding. You want to jump in here, Rick? That's fine, but I can leave it at that. It's a pretty, based on what she's seeing, like it's missed kind of any organs, but it got you through the side. It's going to be painful. It's going to take a while to heal. You're going to be slow moving. But she wraps you up, and she says, "I think we can just we can start some antibiotics, and I think that you'll be okay here."
What was that instrument you put into the wound?
Oh, and she says, "Oh, it was just to check. Honey, you sleep now." And she gives you another shot and
okay.
lets you go to sleep.
All right. Very interesting.
Okay. Rutherford, we can Boone, we should talk to you for a second. So you move the car around the back. The dogs are going crazy as you pull the car around, and you do see the silhouette of a figure moving back, calming them. And as you get out of the car, you hear a woman's voice talking to the dogs. And as she does, she's calling each one of them by name. It's pretty amazing, right? There's like 20 of them out there. And she's handing them something you would probably assume is a treat or something. And as she does, they seem to calm down and it gets quieter as you kind of move back along the side of the building. Though if you get too close to the fencing, they do lunge and bark at you.
No, I'll just stay put unless I'm,
Oh, okay. You're
someone
going to stay
tells
in the
me
car.
otherwise. Yeah, I can't be of any help in there.
Okay. All right.
So, and you said she put Franny to sleep, right? So we see Franny sort of go down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say, Joe, let's go find Boone and maybe we can get some rest.
Okay. Is the doctor still in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's doing things like taking Franny's pulse. She's like opened her eyes and like she's kind of doing like a calmer, more thorough examination of Franny than trying to treat the wound. There was a flushing. Do y'all want to hear about the flushing of the wound?
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, just to watch Scott's face.
Tell me.
As she takes she's got like this pressurized kind of seltzer bottle, and she flushes the wound by like
like a clown.
yeah. But it pressurizes and it just forces all the little like niblets of flesh and stuff that had gotten stuck in the wound, just pushes them right out. So they kind of flow across the table and off onto the floor.
Does she put one of the like big red chunks on her nose and make like a honking sound?
Oh, did I tell y'all Bello's new character? I mean, Rick's new character is a clown.
Oh, God. Yep, that's when I bow out of this campaign.
Okay.
So, Dr. Gardner, is there a place we could clean up? Cully's real bloody.
Sure. Do you want to tell me what happened though?
I don't know. I wasn't in the room. We heard the gunshots and I was hiding behind the couch and I was screaming, but I don't know. But Miss Franny here, she was shot when we found her.
We never saw anyone. We heard gunshots and then more gunshots and then yelling. And it wasn't just Joe's yelling. There were other people yelling too. And then we saw Boone. He came in and Boone saved us. We got to go check on him. I want to make sure Boone's okay.
What about the chicken man?
We never saw him. You keep bringing up Bello, but we don't know what happened to him. We never heard what happened or what was going on with Bello, but he never did anything bad to us. He was trying to help us.
He was. He seemed like he wanted to help. He was nice to me.
So who shot this woman?
We don't know.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Maybe Boone knows. I don't know. Maybe Boone knows. Can we go get Boone and bring him in to see you?
Cully, you gotta wash yourself. You're covered in blood.
And I look down and then I'm like, I get a little woozy and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I'm so tired. Let me go wash up and then we'll talk to Boone.
All right. And so Ellen comes in about that time and she says, Ellen, take these two upstairs, get them some clothes and let them wash off. And I'll stay here. What's your friend's name?
Boone.
It's Franny. Oh, which
the one
friend?
on the table.
Oh, Franny.
So we had met before, and she would probably
in the
remember.
Theater. You assisted her,
and I did ask. I asked her about somehow the subject of
Rumsford.
Harold came up.
She
Yeah, the
knows-
Rumsford stuff.
She knows and was interested and wanted to talk to you more and invited you to.
Right.
Yeah. All
And
that.
she says, now I remember. This was
Franny
your friend.
Rumsford.
Yes. Yes. Now I remember. You kids go upstairs. You're going to be okay. Your friend's going to be okay.
maybe she knows what happened. It was horrible. But I think it was in my head. I mean, I saw things. Let's go upstairs.
Yeah, it's when you start saying that, I'm just like shh, like I'm sort of doing this, like shh, and I'm like, come on, let's just go upstairs. We don't have, and it's sort of whispery as I possibly can, and I don't know if this is whispery. I'm gonna just hopefully say to you, Joe, we don't have to tell her everything.
She's asking so many questions, and I don't know what's going on.
We don't have to tell her everything. We're gonna go get washed up. Thanks for that offer, and just start heading out the door. Like, don't even know where we're going, but just start going as quickly as we can.
So you're going to go with Ellen, or are you going outside to try and find Boone?
If she's, I think I want to go get Boone. I want to check on Boone. Like, and I'll say, Joe, I promise I'll wash up as soon as I can. I have to make sure Boone's okay.
Okay. We got to stick together. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So y'all run out the front door, and Boone, you'll probably see them in a second. And before we cut back to Rutherford, I think it's probably a good point. We'll just take a little break right here.
Yeah, that sounds good. Everybody take a few minutes, and we will see you on the other side. We are back from break. Michael, it is back to you, sir.
All right. And I think when we had left off, Rutherford was returning upstairs with a camera.
Going to get the special spy camera that Richard has, and he had figured out how to use it. If I'm not mistaken, it was he did a roll on that earlier. I remember
the mechanics weren't a problem. The problem might have been though when make a luck roll.
Okay, I was going to say film and other such. Luck roll is a success. Well, that's
okay.
Right. Grade 8 it is or isn't. Okay,
because I was going to say the only problem was when you had Cully kind of go through everything, and remember there was that scene where he was like pulling all the photographic paper out and stuff in the light. Yeah. But we'll say that maybe you had noticed kind of like there was one box that Cully hadn't opened that had the film in it, kind of in the corner of the room. And that you got it out. We don't have to go through that whole process, but that's where it came from. So you got a sheet of film into the camera. Remember, it's a one exposure kind of gig.
Yep.
And then you're taking it back upstairs.
Yep. And going upstairs past Bello's perforated body, and over the pocket chicken that's strewn across the floor. And it's greaseless, so I won't slip on it. So that's good. And we get to the bodies, and the body of the man with the scarred face is the most important. And so he wants to get a good death mask image of the man with this scarred face. So he gets him into a position where he can click that button and get a nice photograph.
Okay.
And then he goes to the other body and does the same thing with that body if there's enough film. He wants to get it. And what is it? Is it a male, female? What is it? Anything?
Yeah. So I mean, you'd have to just to put it in perspective, right? You'd have to go down. Like, we don't have to role play it, but just the idea of it. Like, you'd have to go downstairs, put the film out of the camera somewhere safe, put a new sheet in, go back.
So it's one at a time. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so it's that different. Well, before doing that, would look at the other body and just make sure the other body is before not taking a picture. Is there's anything of interest of this other body?
Make a spot hidden roll.
Ooh, that is a hard success.
Okay, and what you would find then, if you're kind of like looking through the coat or anything like that for identification, you would notice that, interestingly enough, there is nothing that purposely, like, everything had been removed. However, as you look down on his shirt came untucked. They were dressed in suits, both of them. And as you look where his shirt came untucked, on his abdomen, there's a 4-digit number that's been tattooed, 9643. And
being the egghead that he is, he remembers that number 9643, which hopefully Emily's writing down.
For all of our sakes.
Yep.
And so that is noted in his head. But the other thing he's also trying.
It's not large, by the way. It's it's
very
pretty small. Yeah.
He's trying to suss out, and because this is his area of, I guess you can call it paranoia, but interest. Are these particular characters related to the government? Is there anything of government issue on them?
The pistols that you took off of them. So there's nothing directly linking them to the government. However, the firearms, and this, you might need to make an intel. Well, you made the hard spot hidden, so we'll leave it at that. The firearms that they're carrying, what you notice about them is that they are not sort of a quote unquote civilian issue firearm, that they're a very modern kind of state of the art. And
well, there is a war going on. So I was going to say, with the war going on, a lot of the weaponry out there would be known, some of it, and then some of it not, if it's, new development.
And maybe that's what strikes you, is that the particular style and modeling of these firearms is such that it sticks out to you as not being known. And that to you would be a clue that potentially these are working for the government or for the army in some regard.
Okay. And then Rutherford would then quickly, as quickly as he can with his one eye, and go over to the scarred man's face and try to find anything on that figure on their body. Look in the same place to see if there's 4 numbers, now that there seems to be a pattern, and try to suss something out. This scarred man is the one of absolute intrigue in that face, and anything else that might be of a curiosity about him. Shoes, socks, anything.
Yeah, the scarred man has a number tattooed on his abdomen as well. It's 7138. And as you're looking through all of those things, one thing that you do notice is that he's carrying a flashlight in his pocket, a smaller flashlight. But it's shining a different kind of, like, the color of light is a purplish hue. It's not kind of the normal hue of a flashlight.
So using perhaps a science-y role, he more intelligence, I suppose, with his science egghead background of nuclear science and chemistry. Why would that light be purple?
Certainly, in your mind, it's to be able to identify something, that it would be used to illuminate something that would respond to that frequency or
to that. Okay, that's
like
great.
a black light.
Yep. Okay. So that flashlight's important along with the firearms, and Rutherford would quickly grab a bag or anything he could quickly toss those into, anything of interest if there were papers, but there doesn't seem to be any on these characters. And any hats.
There are car keys.
There you go. Car keys for sure. And do they have hats or any clothing or anything like that that is curious or different?
That's not soaked in blood?
Yeah, I guess we don't want things too soaked in blood. So at this point, Rutherford has gone through this, and Richard's body sadly is there, and everything of note has been taken care of, and unfortunately, but Bello's perforated body is still there.
Probably at this point, 2 flies are starting to buzz on Richard's body. I mean, it's
been a while. He might be bloating a little bit in the warmth.
Yeah.
So out of courtesy, he goes over to Richard's body and he pulls a blanket or anything that's nearby up over it, and puts his hand on his chest, which was unfortunately opened up, and quietly. And Rutherford is not a spiritual man of science, but just bids his friend farewell, and has always had this thing when they used to say goodbye to each other after having, been visiting at university, or one of them was going off, they would always say, see you later. And the other one would respond, not a lot later. And so he says, see you later, and then leaves it at that, and then quietly mutters to himself, not a lot later. And then leaves the room, and then is curious about where the others have gone. And
right. So as you walk into the kitchen, there's a mess in there as well, right? There's a puddle of blood over by the foot of the stairs. There's a drawer across the floor with knives that have fallen out. There seem to be like bloody handprints all over the countertops and going through the door. What else are we missing? Probably, I think that's most everything.
Okay. And there's an odd, looking out the window or the door into the driveway. Is there an odd car there?
Yes, there is.
Okay. And then so he would note that car, but Rutherford thinks to himself, where would his compatriots have gone? And he tries to suss that out in his head. And then he starts thinking, and I'm wondering, would he be able to put the pieces together that if they were hurt, they would go to a local medical facility? And he starts thinking that way, that perhaps with all this blood and all the shooting, and he did hear other people yelling, he now surmises that one of them was perhaps terribly wounded and is off to a medical facility. So he's going to go out and see if these keys work in that car.
Okay. As you go out into the driveway, you see somebody bicycle up and they throw something at you, and the newspaper lands about 10 feet from you.
And at this point, Rutherford has to take the bait and lift up the newspaper, unfurl it, so we can hear the headlines of the day.
All right.
I'm just glad
hold on,
Rutherford didn't shoot the person that threw something at him.
I don't know if I have I knew you sent it to me. I can't find it.
Oh, here, I can drop it. I can drop it right in the chat again.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let's see how quickly I can do this. We are trying to get the image so that I can put it up on the YouTube version of this.
What's the name of the newspaper?
It is the Los Alamos Lead.
Lead,
And
Lead.
it is. And hang on, I just only sent it to Bello. Dropping it again. There we go.
Okay, let's see if I can.
All right.
It is.
And I will read the headlines to you. There's a photo, a gravelly photo of a city skyline, obscured behind it by clouds of smoke. It says catastrophic explosion at labs, 14 dead under the photo. And
Oh my
wow.
oops, Joe.
That makes a throat punch seem pretty innocuous, huh?
Oh, wow.
The first headline says Big Booms in Los Alamos by Quinn Lang. Concerns about the extent of military security were validated yesterday as explosions rocked the southeast corner of the facility, shaking areas of our bustling community. The blast, which could be seen from around the city, affected undisclosed offices near the dining facility. Crews were seen working through the night to extinguish the fire. A perimeter was immediately set up around, accompanied by squads of armed military members. Though this site isn't new, the tone definitely was. Names of those killed in the disaster have not been released. We know at least 4 were firefighters and 3 scientists working below the incident. Emily's face
Emily
is
might
priceless.
need a sanity roll.
Emily or
Well-
Emily?
But Joe fortunately hasn't read this, only
Joe
Rutherford.
doesn't know.
The cause was initially released as mishandled building materials. However, that has been updated to include arson and even sabotage. It's a reminder to stay vigilant at these times. If you see suspicious activity, notify law enforcement immediately.
Oh, shit.
In connection with this event, authorities are seeking 3 individuals for questioning.
Oh,
The
shit.
first is a male who is believed to have assaulted one of the dining administrators. He's average height and build with an injured left arm.
No double jeopardy. I'm already dead.
He is possibly the owner of Bello Poultry Farms and may have sustained significant injuries during the stampede that followed the explosion. The other 2 people, an older male and younger female, were seen leaving the scene in a large metal vehicle that seemed to resemble a chicken and may also be working for the Poulet Chicken Company. It may be this reporter's opinion, but the lack of information here points to the need for greater record keeping at the gates of these facilities. And then the second headline of note is a spy out cold. Sources have indicated that government officials have eliminated a foreign actor operating in our midst. Authorities have been tracking him for several months and say the threat was neutralized last night. It's a further reminder our community can be a focal point for those with nefarious goals. Stay vigilant, Los Alamos.
Oh,
Oh, those bastards killed Richard.
wow.
That was great.
Emily, you all right?
Just writing.
When you write it, just downplay it a bit. Reduce the number to 3 or something.
Oh, God.
It's a good reminder for Rick that there's worse things than dying. Sometimes being alive in this campaign is just way more painful.
That's great. Emily's going to return. 14 people were seriously aggravated.
Did I?
Rutherford's never going to show Joe that newspaper. Never.
Oh.
Never.
That was pretty good.
I should have added that the canine training facilities were housed right next to the explosion. That might have done it for real.
Oh, my God. Gardner probably gets a paper.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Now Rutherford, all his conclusions would be, that last story. Just says everything's true about the government. They obviously killed Richard, and this makes it all more relevant to be shutting down the horrible system that's happening in this facility and their nefarious ends. And so he throws the newspaper into the front passenger seat of the car and hops on in and see if the keys are correct for it. And how many keys are there? Is it just the car key or are there other keys?
Oh, good question. Make a luck roll on that.
Got it. A pretty high roll, but just got it.
Okay. There's one key that definitely fits the car, and then another key.
Is the other key like a small key that would be for a cabinet, or does it look like a normal large key?
It looks like a you know what? You're right. It looks like a smallish key that would probably fit some sort of cabinet or footlocker or something like that.
Okay. That's important. And so he knows that's going to be incredibly important, and separates it from the other key and puts it into the bag with the well, no, actually I think you want to keep that on. Puts it in a pocket in his in his pants, and a little pocket that he has with a button that you button it down on his wool pants, and would try to fire up this car.
So as you start it, you notice that this car, you're not like any kind of a car nut, but as you turn this one on, it definitely runs very smooth and accelerates a little more than any car you've ever been in, and just generally drives a bit more advanced.
Okay, because his mechanical repairability is 70, so he's really good.
Oh,
mechanic.
Yeah, then you would notice that this car was substantially different than kind of a factory grade version.
So he starts it up, and in his curiosity catches the better of him, and he steps out of the car for a second and wants to lift the hood and use the purple light that he has to take a peek at the engine, because he's just, unfortunately, Rutherford is an egghead, and he's just completely sucked in, and everything else is gone. Okay, so his target fixation is kicked into, like, what is this engine? Why is it so amazing? And what's going on? And just wants to take a look and see what it looks like.
Okay, so in terms of the light's just a kind of purplish hue that's shining on the engine itself, not revealing anything except an engine in this purplish hue. Nothing really stands out except that as you kind of watch the pistons moving and things like that, there's a very smooth kind of feel to them. And there just seems to be, the engine's quite large and seems to have the potential for the power.
So does he get a sense like this is the type of engine which they did that back then? A lot of engines were thrown into airplanes, and some of the mechanics from the airplanes then could be translated back to a vehicle. That's, Spitfires had things like that and such like that too. So a little bit of that perhaps is going through his head. He's like, some of the advancements in the airplanes, which are streaking ahead of everything else, perhaps has been utilized in its engine, and he's kind of fascinated by that.
Right. So you would almost call this, in that sense, a military grade engine in your estimation.
So he's starting to put that together, and then he also gets the sense that if you needed to, the vehicle probably can go an awful lot faster than any other standard vehicle out there.
Yes.
Perhaps even faster than a doodlebug.
Perhaps even faster than
a doodlebug.
Okay. And then his other curiosity is he takes the butt of the gun that he has that was Richard's, and he whacks a closed window with it, the glass, because he's curious.
One window, the passenger side window, is broken.
So that's why. Well, he's kind of curious if he sees it's broken. He said this vehicle should have bulletproof glass. Is in his mind. It's odd that it wouldn't be. So he kind of taps the glass and listens to see if it is of a sturdy nature and why there's a window broken. It doesn't make sense. This fancy vehicle wouldn't have that.
I broke it with a tire iron.
Yeah. I don't know that we have the plastics and polymers to be a crazy.
There's no safety glass, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that. So you whack another window.
He just taps it. Doesn't try to break it. Just taps it.
Oh, doesn't tap it? No, yeah. I mean it doesn't. It's certainly sturdier, right? You give it a good wrap and it doesn't like shatter or crack, and it seems sturdier.
Okay,
but definitely, there's shattered glass all in the passenger seat.
And then something comes to him, and he looks on the dashboard for other instruments that are maybe of oddities, the RPMs, to see how far the RPMs might go off if it does read RPMs, because he's curious about that. And then the glove box. Indeed, he needs to see if there's a glove box, and perhaps that's locked, and maybe that's the key. I don't know.
And you do reach down, and the glove box is locked.
Okay, and then it takes out the small key and see if that's a key that fits in there.
Okay, and it does.
And gives it a little click by still being vigilant around him. He looks around. It's nighttime, listening, and clicks open the glove box and opens it slowly. It's dark in there, so I would assume, I don't know if it's fancy enough for a light to go on inside a glove box in a vehicle of this age. And he has the small purple flashlight, which he's using like a camping light, and he takes a little peek into the glove box.
Okay, and then we'll cut over to the doctor's office.
Ooh. So you guys were going out to talk to Boone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll head outside, and as soon as we get outside, if the dogs are calm, I'm going to sort of whisper, yell, if that makes sense, and I'm going to go, Boone, where are you?
I'm right over here by the
Mhm.
car.
All right. So, Joe, let's go over and talk to him for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll head on over, and you've heard it all, but we'll explain. Like, she treated, and she put some metal thing in and said that she was going to be okay. And
Oh yeah, that I can tell you that from hobo medicine. You follow the path of the bullet. She was just following the path of the bullet to make sure it was through and through.
man,
Well, then
you're
why
so
wouldn't
smart.
she tell us what it was for?
Yeah, who knows? She
She's
seemed
a
a little
grown up.
she's a little cranky to me when I saw her.
There's nothing worse than a grown up.
Yeah, you got that right. But
Well,
hey kids, we need to get you somewhere. Is this even the voice that I use?
It is.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
go with it.
We need to get you kids somewhere safe to sleep tonight. We can't go back to Mr. Richards' place.
No, she offered for us to sleep upstairs. She offered us a room, but she wants to talk to you to find out what happened with Franny, and she asked us to bring you back in. Maybe, I don't know, but
Okay,
she wanted to go
what did
upstairs.
you tell her or not tell her to make sure
We
I
didn't
don't?
know. We
Well,
didn't know.
we were in the
anything.
living room and we didn't see what happened. We just heard the gunshots
Yeah.
and we were hiding and
I didn't see much. I just peeked in Richard's bedroom window, and I saw two men in there. One was dead, that's for sure, and the other one was
like
on the floor, but he was still moving.
men, like different people, other people.
Yeah, they were dressed in. Remember, me and Rutherford were telling you about that the guys that grabbed Richard and threw him in the back of the car that night.
Yeah.
They're dressed like them, all in dark suits.
So,
Could have been
and
the same guys.
Gabriel, I mean, I saw the picture, so I would know about the scar, right?
Yeah.
So, did one of them have a big scar on his face?
Oh, I was too far away. I could see their bodies, but I couldn't tell you what their faces looked like. But anyway, I probably shouldn't tell her about that, right? I already told her that intruders came in. Should I just, because we don't know whether she's in cahoots with them or it's really confusing.
And I don't know. And she keeps asking us about the chicken man.
She
chicken
did.
man.
She asked
What?
a lot about the chicken man. I mean, she means Bello, you know?
Yeah, I know. She just met him. Did she even meet him? He was sitting
Well,
on the bench with his. Oh, that's right. He had his. Oh, yeah. He had his arm.
She
broken.
worked on him before.
Oh, yeah.
but like, I don't know. She said weird stuff. Like she wanted to know immediately if the chicken man shot Franny.
Huh.
Why would he
Bello
shoot anyone?
Why would
Well,
Bello shoot?
Bello was a strange fella. He was eccentric. I know a lot of eccentric people. They don't necessarily go around causing criminal mischief.
Do y'all
And she
know he's
said-
even dead?
No. We have no idea.
Well,
No.
let me see. I came in and I immediately saw the two kids. We scuttled out and then saw Franny on the
Coming
way
out.
out and went and got
And then
Franny. So
Got it. Yeah.
And-
So we.
I don't
Yeah.
think you.
Any
I don't
idea.
think
You
you
don't know
know
he's
that
dead.
Bello's dead.
yeah, we don't know what happened to Rutherford either.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we. Oh gosh, I don't know what to
Well,
do. Are we even safe? Like, if those men came to Richards, do they know that? Do they know we were there? Do they know we were with him?
Well, those
Are
men,
they gonna?
those men, at least the two I saw, are dead or dying.
Dead?
One of them was moving, but he didn't look too good. But I take your point. Maybe, if they're trying to track us all down, maybe they would, think we might head to a doctor. Maybe we're not safe here.
We can't leave Franny here.
We can't leave Franny. And
Oh, that's true.
and I'm going to turn to you, Joe, and say, Joe, I have to rest or something. I'm just exhausted.
You could stay at my room at the store. I mean, if
Well,
you
she
go in the
offered
back.
for us to stay upstairs. I don't want to leave Franny until I know Franny's okay. So if you guys can do what you want. I'm gonna go just close my eyes just for a couple minutes. And I'm gonna, with that, I'm going to just sort of say, I'm going to say to you guys, take care of each other. And I'm just going to walk back to the house and start heading to see if I can find a way upstairs to close my eyes.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to let you go alone. So I'm just going to run after you.
I'm going to go back in because, she wanted to talk to someone who saw more than the kids did.
Okay.
I also want to check on Franny.
Okay. So as y'all head in, you see Dr. Gardner. She's sitting in a chair beside the bed, kind of keeping a close watch on Franny, and she's actually reading to her out loud. And
what is she reading?
Alice in Wonderland.
Interesting.
Or I guess that's through the looking glass, right?
Yeah.
She's reading through the looking glass, and so she's reading that out loud to Franny. Franny's starting to come to as y'all come in, and you see her stirring, and Dr. Gardner looking up at the three of you as you come in and saying, "Oh, wonderful! Your friend is coming to at the moment, and I was just reading to keep her company for a few minutes while y'all were gathering your thoughts."
Very nice. Very considerate.
And as y'all are standing there talking to her, there's a pounding on the front door. You kind of briefly, as you hear the pounding, it comes into your brain that you saw the flash of lights as they kind of, or the movement of lights as something pulled into the driveway. And Dr. Gardner looks up at y'all very wide-eyed and quickly jumps up, and she says, "Back room now, you and you go."
Okay,
And-
I'm going to quickly go over to Franny and say, "Franny, do you have a gun on you? If so, you shouldn't. This might be the cops."
I don't think I have a gun, Boone.
Okay, I couldn't remember who had one. Okay,
I don't
off
think
I
I
go.
And so she looks at you, Franny, and she says, "I'm sorry I have to do this." And she takes the pillowcase from the top
no.
and just lays it over your face so you can't see anything.
Oh, I thought you were going
Okay.
to say pillow.
Right?
No, she's just hiding your face.
Yeah.
And then she bustles to the front door and says, "Who's there?"
Hi, Miss Gardner. This is Sam. This is Sam Wagoneer. I don't know if you're aware, but there's been some commotion here in town, and I need to talk with you right away.
Mr. Wagoneer, is this an emergency?
It is damn right an emergency.
I have a patient here who's in need of intensive medical care at the moment.
Yeah, well, I got a son here who's all torn asunder. I need to speak with you right away.
Oh no! And she opens the door for you.
Yeah, and I greet her, tip of the hat, and I say, "Howdy, ma'am. I appreciate your kindness here at this early hour. But I have to tell you, there is some tomfoolery going around here in town, and I'm not having it. And have you heard of any sort of chicken purveyors here in town? Somebody called my goddamn son, told him,
Why are you coming to the doctor?
told him that we weren't gonna have any no more income. He's going to rob us of our provisions to the base. And I've had I got to tell you something. Little Amos has been weeping something fierce."
And
It's pretty good.
she looks at you, and bedside manner is not Dr. Gardner's forte, and she just kind of looks at you and says, "Oh, I'm sorry.
And you're probably wondering to yourself, maybe out loud, why the hell is Sam knocking at my door here at 5 a.m? And I can tell you exactly why. It's because I went down there to talk to those MPs, and I saw this morning paper, and I put 2 and 2 together and said, this imbecile troublemaker is probably injured after the commotion there at the base, and he may be looking to find himself some medical attention. So I figured you're the brightest game here in town, and well, have you seen him? Is he back there? As he's looking around her shoulders.
Okay, so Boone, Joe, and Cully, you can hear this from the back, right?
Sounds
just...
like Bello to me, so I'm gonna. Right? Doesn't it?
Howdy, ma'am. I'm trying to go with a little more of a Houston accent. God damn it.
Oh.
I can't wait to play
Rick,
this
you're
segment of the
fine.
episode for
Great.
Ian so he can
Funny.
critique your. I'm going to record him critiquing your Southern accents. Go right for
Ma'am,
it.
I don't do this. Don't do this.
You should do your Arnold Schwarzenegger instead.
Miss Gardner, what are we doing here? Are you for the
Oh.
Oh, it's perfect.
I remember that one.
And it's time to end season 2 and move to the 1600s. Okay.
I'll be back.
Oh, God, good.
All right. So she kind of she's looking at you and she says, I'm really trying to help my patient over here. Why don't you have a seat? I haven't seen any chicken people since last night. And
Last night, you ran into him. Was his name? And I pull out the paper and I go, Bello. Is that his name?
I didn't catch his name, but he was dressed in a chicken suit. It was pretty awkward and the theater smelled awful, but regardless.
That sounds like the imbecile. Gotta tell you what.
Now you seem quite worked up. Why don't you have a seat and take a load off? I need to tend to my patient over here, and I'll be right with you, Mr. Wagoneer.
Were they injured at the plant? Maybe they know something. Who's back there?
She's currently unconscious, Mr. Wagoneer. She
Yeah, he
sustained.
didn't say anyone was back there.
What's that?
She didn't say anyone was back there. Oh, you're talking about the person on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She sustained a serious injury, not at the plant. I couldn't talk to you about this, Mr. Wagoneer, but
No, that's a confidentiality. I hear, but you should ask her if she was injured or got into a scuffle with this chicken man. Well, we may have ourselves a united front against this goddamn imbecile.
And she says, "You have a seat," and she points you to a chair, and she goes, "I'll be back up in a minute, Mr. Wagoneer."
Yeah, all right. And he's just like looking around. He's looking out the windows, and he's just sitting there. His legs going a mile a minute, and he's very clearly armed for what it's worth.
Oh, okay. So she gets back to you, Franny, and she pulls a curtain across, and she pulls your the sheet that she put over your face, and she pulls that up, and she winks at you, and she goes, "Just an unhappy customer. You're okay." And she goes, "He's looking for the chicken man. I don't suppose you want to have anything you want to say to him?"
No, certainly not. I'm not quite feeling up to having that sort of a conversation right now. Who is that man?
He's a local rancher, upstanding fella, though a little hot-headed, but nobody of concern. You're safe.
And why would he be looking for Mr. Poulet? That seems very strange.
He seemed quite upset, and I'm not sure why.
This is all very strange.
And she waves Joe, Cully, and Boone. She waves you back up, And she looks at you and she goes, he's a little hot-headed, but you're okay. Nobody to worry about here.
Ooh.
A local farmer. He's looking for your
Yeah,
your
you said we
chicken
heard
man.
the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's looking for Bello?
He yeah. That's what I mean. That's the only chicken man I know in town. Where is Bello?
I don't know. He gets in more trouble than anyone I ever met.
And you know Joe.
Come
right?
on now.
That's saying something.
So when do you think Franny will be able to move, to walk, to leave?
Well, in the interest of moving the game forward, we,
Certainly by next playing session.
yeah,
we'll get to
you know,
sleep in a few more days.
yeah, we might we might actually do that, fast track it a couple of days so that Franny can reasonably recover and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, and Rutherford's going to catch up with us, right? So that would sort of let us all come back together in the same space. And
Sure. Well, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah. Or we can do the thing that we did with Boone, where Rutherford does some things and we do y'all a few days in advance, and then time merges
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great.
in a couple weeks, so we can figure that part out.
Okay.
Does anybody want to talk to this rancher out there about your friend? What did you say his name was?
Bello.
Yeah,
Bello?
Bello.
Sure, I wouldn't mind
Well-
asking him what Bello did.
Well, do we want to? Oh, jeez. We don't want to get Bello in trouble.
And
You
I'm
know,
going to look at you.
Bello,
and-
actually, Bello. We don't know if Bello and Rutherford are injured.
They're
well, you
probably
kids
still
get
back
some-
at the house.
Yeah, you kids get some sleep. You need
I
some
mean,
sleep.
that's why I wanted to go back and check on them.
Yeah, we need to go back to the house.
But
and,
you dragged me out.
Well, we can't go
Well,
back
I
into a
didn't
house
know-
when there's gunshots being fired, Joe.
Yeah, I don't want you kids to go. I can go snoop around. Go in, see if they're still there. I can't
Boone,
talk in that voice anymore.
Boone, what about if you go? What if you go and the cops come? Like, not that I want to leave them on their own, but I feel like we need to lay low and let's get Franny better. And then hopefully Rutherford's one of the smartest people I've ever met. If he made it out alive, he's going to bring Bello, because Bello is not one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he'll get them safe. If you go back and the police show up, maybe Rutherford already has 2 or 3 plans ready to go, and all you're going to do is get caught up. You can't know what he's planning. He's too smart for us.
Yep, I know. We know. As players, they're okay. Well, I can't do it for all I know. Yeah, I'll take your point taken.
Yeah.
As the character, though, I would be concerned that they're injured, bleeding out, need help, something.
So is your plan to go back to the house?
Well, I don't want to muck around unnecessarily. I mean, I want to see if they need help, they're still alive. Maybe I could meet up with Rutherford at the house.
Okay. So yeah, there's no problem getting you back to. I think that's pretty easy to get you back. It's not far the way you went. And
Yeah,
in
I
fact,
just
the
want
way
to.
Rutherford's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to sneak around, look in the windows. I mean, if I see the car coming, I don't know how it would work out.
Okay. Well, as you're debating this, the curtain flies open, and you hear Mr. Wagoneer say,
Who's talking over here? I hear a couple different voices.
What business is it of yours?
Well, Miss Gardner isn't one to lie, so I needed to make sure she was in no distress and being held captive here. with folks here putting her up in airs. So,
Well, what are you gonna do? Scare 2 children out of their wits? They've been through enough already tonight.
He's taking care
Why
of our
would
friend.
you think we kidnapped her?
she said there was one patient back here, and I'm hearing
Yeah,
multiple
one
voices.
patient. There is one patient.
Yeah, she didn't say there's a whole gaggle.
Well, maybe it's none of your goddamn business.
Well, what's it to you?
Bello, or this guy, whatever his name is starting off on a really good foot.
I'm
I
just
don't want this.
I'm just giving you a hazy.
And I'd like to go adventuring with you.
I know. Coming in hot, man.
Yep. Let's try and squeeze this one in. So,
Yeah.
so-
there's been a whole mess of trouble tonight, and we're just fed up with it.
what kind of trouble you talking about? You get involved in any chicken men crusher?
Well, I don't know about chicken men, but there was plenty of gunfire.
Gunfire? Where at? Here in town? There should be
Yeah.
no gunfire on the base, like
No. In
And
town.
and I would look over. Is Franny there exposed?
Oh,
What kind of question is
That's
that?
indiscreet.
Can you
Of
watch
course I'm
your
not
phraseology?
exposed.
And like,
You can see her face.
yes, I meant is the sheet still over her? or-
No.
Wow.
Can I see her wound? It would be the other question.
Can you see her wound?
Yeah.
No, she's like bandaged and she's on.
Do I see she was like injured with like blood through the cotton and all that sort of stuff? Or is it-
There's blood on the sheets, but you can't see anything. There's a sheet over her with blood on the right hand side, and her face is exposed.
All right. And he looks over and he'll see you, Franny, and he'll say, "Was that a gunshot wound?"
Why? Yes, it is.
Miss Gardner, did you flush this wound? You do not want to get septic gangrene here.
Mr. Wagoneer, I'm quite astute at my profession. I
you're
assure
right. You're
you
right.
I followed proper
Did we
sterilization.
roll for
protocols.
mansplaining or?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You have an inspiration point, Scott. Use it any way you
It's
want.
pretty freaking great.
I'm sorry, Miss Gardner. I'm sorry, Miss Gardner. I know you are brilliant and know far more than I do. I just seeing a bullet wound like that sends me back a bit. So it just gets me a little riled up, and with everything else going on here in town, explosions and the like, we'll just see my nerves a little bit on edge. So,
Mr. Wagoneer, why don't you explain to them why you're so riled up?
I got home, a full-on day out there in the field, to my little boy Amos weeping, and he is just weeping up a storm. And and I asked him what's going on, and he just blabbered and blabbered. A bicycle. He's not gonna get a bicycle. And I said, "Who said you ain't gonna get a bicycle?" And you know what he said? He said the man on the phone. And I said, "What man you talking about?" And he said, "The man who said they don't want any more of our cattle." And I said, "Who the hell called and told you that?" So then I call over to the base, can't get through, line's busy, smoke in the sky. So I take the old beater over there, and what do I find? I see a cacophony of that's not a word he probably would use of commotion. And I end up talking with some of the MPs that I know over there. See with Bond a little bit, and talk with them a little bit. And they informed me not only of this explosion and fire and conflagration, but that there were possibly spies, including this chicken man. And well, I get around to talking to a few of the folks over there in the food service, trying to clarify this. And they said this chicken man was by, left a note, almost taunting me. And well, it's on me to try and set the record straight. You don't call and taunt a poor boy, tell him he's not going to get a bicycle. My God.
They said that Chicken Man was a spy.
They said that there might be a spy, that there were a few folks there that were aiding and abetting him, and I'm just perturbed by all this.
And the chicken man stole your bicycle?
No, didn't you?
Took it to the Alamo?
Didn't you listen, boy? The boy. What did I talk about, boy? So going Foghorn
I'm a
Leghorn
boy. You
there
can
for a
say
second.
that.
Yeah. No. He didn't take the bicycle. He told my son he wasn't getting a bicycle, which I promised him because we made this
Why would
large deal.
So the
I don't
chicken man
know.
called up and told you that he wasn't going to get you a bicycle?
Not me, my boy. Can you believe that? He's just a few years old, and he's answering the phone for Pops while he's out tending the field and cattle and telling him ruin his dreams, his hopes for his birthday. My God.
I don't know why Bello would have done that.
I think there might be more of a
Bello Bay.
I think there might be more of a privilege issue there, and a communication issue between you and your son than something that someone else did. It seems to be more of a familial
I'm
issue.
sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I need just hush there for one moment. The little girl.
Whoa, misogynist much?
The little girl here said something. You mentioned his name. Did you run across his path there, young one?
I also think you may have a problem in dealing with women.
That's going to be a big problem in this. We have two women in our.
Just to be clear, is Sam talking aggressively to Joe? Are you?
Yeah. Is he?
I'm not rolling intimidation.
His first name's Sam. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sam Wagoner.
Okay.
So I'm trying to seriously. I want to know: am I perceiving this as he's going after Joe, or is he just talking to Joe?
Make an intelligence roll here, Cully, because I think in my mind
I got a super duper pooper 6.
How long have you been playing this game?
Don't judge me.
That's
super duper pooper is an absolute scale in this game, and I just
yes. Okay. Then I think with that you would recognize that though he's animated and it could be perceived as aggressive, you realize like this is just this guy's personality. That doesn't mean you wouldn't step in, but I think you're fully aware that like this is just this dude, and you're also aware in that moment that Joe tipped y'all's hand and said, what did Bello say to him, or let that slip?
So I'm going to turn to Joe and I'm going to say, Joe, you tell me what you want to do. I don't think he's trying to hurt us. I just think he's really upset because of what happened to his son, but I don't think he's trying to hurt us. But you tell me what you feel comfortable with.
And I'll lean in and say, but he said that Bello is a spy. If you guys say that you know him, and maybe he'll think we're spies and turn us in. And I'm saying this while hugging Joe, saying it'll be okay. And then I whisper so he can't tell that
it's okay. This man don't mean no harm. He's just obviously he's running on high emotions. You tell him whatever you feel like telling him.
You say that out loud, that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry there, sir. You're right. A little hot under the collar there. My roots were showing, and my apologies, dear, and apologies to you. You wounded lass there on the table, and for being too offensive there. I just lost my head a little bit. I think I'm more perturbed. Not only is there just some hooligan here causing trouble and strife for my family and I, but that the military would allow such a thing. We've been partners with them here in town for quite some time, and I got a bit of a kindred spirit with the military, and this seems a bit weird, a bit unusual for them to just be acting so rash and impulsive. They're bringing in contractors and non-military folk, and just something doesn't smell right.
Do you mean it instead of your food contract, or the people you saw when you went to the facility?
No, the food contract folks. They changed from under military purview to these just slime balls. is that a colloquial saying back in the 1940s? Who knows?
Sure.
I invented it. Sam Wagoneer. DM. Over there, and they've been honestly soliciting bribes for contracts and services, and it's the only way I can make sure my family has food on the table. My boy has bicycles to ride.
You seem very, very preoccupied with that bicycle.
It's just really relying on prior plot points. Just really hammering those in.
Mr. Wagoneer, speaking of Amos, when you came in the door, you said that he was in a bind. Is there something I could help you with?
Yeah, he was trying to make a deal. He's it's a bad devil went down a Georgia joke. So he's all worked up after this stranger calls him on the phone. Now he's got
is he here with you?
He's no, he's
and
not.
y'all see Dr. Gardner, like the more people that are starting to talk, remember that personality shift?
Mhm.
It shifts kind of abruptly in the other direction now, and she gets quite assertive as there's more people around.
No, ma'am. He's at home. My wife Cheryl's taking care of him.
Yes, sir,
And,
Mr. Wagoneer. So you lied to me to get into my facility.
No, he's. I came here because I needed to see if you had any information, if you have anything that may calm him on his wits.
I'm the doctor.
Yeah, that's why I'm here, ma'am. Yes,
So
yes, ma'am.
Where's Amos?
Like I said, he's down the road just at the farm. But I jumped in the car and I sped off, coming to see you to see if you got anything, tinctures and the like, poultices, some fancy westward medicine, eastern medicine, East Coast medicine.
I thought
Nailed it.
you were here looking.
You are so good at this.
for an injured chicken man.
It's
better than a westward poultice.
I'm looking for the chicken man because he initiated and sparked this lie and trouble with the base and with my son, and I'm also looking to see if I can try and calm him some way. We've tried everything. We tried reading his favorite books, giving him his favorite snacks, tucking him in, rocking him for a little bit. But you know,
how old is your son?
Mr. Wagoneer, I am not a veterinarian. This horse is dead. Have a seat.
What?
You three, if you have anything that can calm him down, please talk to him. Otherwise, I'm focused on your friend over here who definitely needs help.
Well, these two children need some rest. I'll go talk to Mr. Wagoneer.
Yep.
I know a bit about this chicken man you're looking for. You and I can have a talk outside. And I turn to the kids and I give you a quick wink.
Joe, can you make a luck roll?
You just winking
Yeah.
it.
No, my back is to you.
All right.
14. That's got to be okay.
Okay. All right. Then Boone, as you walk Mr. Wagoneer out to the front of the building, the paperboy rides by and chucks a newspaper, hits you square in the chest. You kind of catch it, and yep, and we'll stop there for the night.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Rick coming in with a new character.
Huh? Foil to the last character. He's gonna keep putting these little seeds in, and it's gonna end up with characters pissed at one another in some sort of conga line. Okay, we can.
I kind of just see a
Bello
pan
was
of
still
water
alive
and a
to
little
see-
splash of oil.
See you two face off against each other.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us. If you would like to find us between now and the next episode, you can do so at underthelibrary.com. You can find us on Twitter, Under the LIB, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. So until next time, for me, for Scott, Wayne, Rick, Chris, Emily, and Michael, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.